Time becomes a circle. The only way out is by dying. I wake up feeling vaguely disappointed at the prospect of facing another day. I can't put my finger on it, but something feels off. It's as though there's a slight time lapse between me and the rest of the world. Not enough to be really obvious, but just enough to make things feel slightly off-kilter. Just enough to put me on a different plane of existence to other people. I try to keep making good choices, but I can't eat breakfast. My stomach feels like lead. Time is strange in this place. It becomes a continuous loop of memory. I see my past embedded in my future and no way to escape it. I try to keep myself busy, but my focus is lacking, and I find myself wandering aimlessly with only my overactive thoughts to keep me company. They whisper in my brain like the mean kids at the back of the classroom. I do my best to ignore them. I already know that they have nothing good to say to me. But their presence is a constant distraction, and it prevents me from getting anything worthwhile done. I go to places of solace and try to find some peace there. And for a little while, I do. I sleep. I wake up feeling vaguely disappointed that I woke up at all. I can't put my finger on it, but something feels off. As though I am a ghost, doomed for eternity to retread the steps I took when I was alive. I am invisible. I am alone. My stomach feels like lead, so I skip breakfast. I try to keep myself busy, but my mind is whirling around and around like crockery in a tumble dryer. And I find myself drifting aimlessly, with only my spinning thoughts to keep me company. They speak all at once, a jumble of noise, but I sometimes catch the odd word. Useless, failure, broken. The world seems vast, and I am a helpless speck of dust within it. I go to places of solace and try to find some peace there. But there is no peace. Just a cacophony of voices echoing around in my skull. Oblivion calls to me. I sleep. I wake up, and the world comes crashing in. I do my best to keep it out. My stomach feels like lead, so I self-medicate. Just the one, to dull the edges of the day. I am lulled by its false comforts. I know that they are false, but I welcome them all the same. The voices are distant and muffled, and I feel like a little boy trying not to hear his parents arguing in the next room, whilst knowing that it's me that they're talking about. I try to maintain the equilibrium. On a warm cotton wool tide, I am swept along until I reach the shores of oblivion. I welcome the darkness. I sleep. I wake up and I already know how the day is going to go, so I take preventive measures. Medicating gets me to where I need to be, as far away from the voices as I can get. It almost works. I sleep. I wake. This isn't right. I need to do something. The medication is losing its effectiveness. Life seems to have regained its sharper edges. The whispering voices are blades, thin as paper. I try to distract myself. I do something different to try and break the circle. Anything to shift my focus, to recalibrate my mind. But I quickly lose patience with myself. The voices are right. I am useless. With the last of my resolve, I become defiant and reckless. A rebellious child, heels dug in, fists on hips, defiant to the last. I yell back at the voices, a battle cry to sow fear in their ranks. But my heart isn't in it, and my shout quickly fades to a sigh, lost on the arid breeze. All of my fight is gone, and the voices are laughing at me now. I feel my walls crumble, and I know I'm losing. I sleep. I wake. I need stronger medication. It numbs me except for a small, tight knot of anger at my core. There can only be one outcome now. The battle is lost. The battle was always lost, and the outcome has always been inevitable. I see that now. Time is strange in this place. It becomes a vicious circle, relentless, unending, and cruel. Death is a single, definite point in time. A full stop, where everything ends. Peace. I sleep. I wake. It's courage that I need, but this'll do. I have no choice. I have no choice. I must break the circle. The voices are an incoherent, relentless buzz in my skull. There are no words anymore, but the sentiment remains crystal clear. Worthless. Useless. A failure and a disgrace. A small, distant part of me is afraid, but for the most part, I feel relief. By surrendering, I'll no longer have to fight. No more voices. No more pain. And all I have to do is make that one choice and take a leap into the darkness. It'll be like falling asleep. I wake. I take stock. I have stood at the edge of the precipice and stared death in the face. Sometimes I need that moment of surrender. I need to teeter on the brink before I can finally take a step back and reevaluate. And it's then that I realise that there is a choice. That there's always a choice. So I may not like the available choices, but they're still choices. And with that realisation, suddenly I don't feel so helplessly trapped in what feels like an infinite loop of mistakes and guilt and pain. Just that tiny sliver of control is enough to keep me pushing forward. I begin by making better choices, one at a time. I change my habits, one at a time. I spend less time inside my own head and more time looking at the world around me. And I begin to once again see the good in the universe and in myself. And I see that everything is connected. Life, death, future, past. And I begin to accept that life is an intricate dance that's impossible to predict or understand. And that's okay. I don't need to understand it. I just need to live it. And I learn that we create our own circles, and that it's better to see them not as a trap, but as a chance to learn and renew each time around, to find a balance, to find our places of solace, but to carry them with us wherever we go. If you look hard enough, you will see the silver linings. And even though you are a tiny, fragile light twinkling in a void that is unimaginably vast, you are not the only one. We are all a part of a wider pattern, making our choices and stumbling around in the dark, doing the best we can, until it's time to sleep. And when you wake, when you truly awake, it's a brand new day. And you find that you are back in the land of the living again. When time becomes a circle, the only way out is by living.